You ever get caught between hope and a haunting shadow? That sick thrill in your gut telling you everything's about to crash, but the scoreboard hasn't blinked yet? Detroit's been there, on the edge, clinging to shards of promise only. To see dreams cut down by injury, bad breaks, or so-called developing pains. Well, lean in, because there's news rolling over Allen Park like a thunderstorm on a summer night. And trust me, this one's not just a whisper. It's a roar. Before I spill this, if your heartbeat races with every ounce of Lions pride, let the world know, slam that comment button and shout out your undying faith. Because what you're about to hear could shatter illusions or ignite that fire we Detroiters have known deep in our bones for decades. Insiders are speaking in hushed tones, executives are biting their nails, and trainers are pacing hallways. Something seismic is unfolding behind those closed doors where only the brave dare to breathe. Our young defensive jewel, the man-many, pinned as the foundation of Detroit's new identity on the gridiron, just limped off the field under a cloud of uncertainty. The flash of pain wasn't just physical. It sent shockwaves through a fan base starving for stability. Terrion Arnold, our 24th overall draft pick, our ball hawk, the electrifying corner with 10 interceptions already making us envision the glory days we crave, is now staring down a hamstring injury that could, if we're honest, unravel more than just a practice session. This isn't just a few missed snaps. It's the fragile thread holding together our secondary's hope, the pillar of a future defense that had its first real taste of the NFL's relentless brutality just last season. Arnold, at just 22, was supposed to be our young lion leading from the front, showing that rookie jitters don't define us, that the rebuilding Detroit so desperately needs is alive and charging. Yet, that simple Snapchat posted dry hamstring with a blank face emoji followed by cryptic red exclamation points felt like a cryptic prophecy hanging over us. What does this mean for the days to come? Will our defense hold the line without their rising star? The question gnaws relentlessly at every Detroit heart beating in sync with the Lions' pulse. And if Arnold's out longer than we hope, if the injury turns into a saga, where does that leave Dan Campbell's squad? With Amik Robertson sidelined and Darren Dorsey still on the physically unfit list, the secondary's already stretched like a thin wire over a canyon. Campbell's been tight-lipped, but we all know what Coach Dan's hoping, to have his defensive reign back in full force by the end of camp. But the brutal truth that's sinister, what if lurks? What if the damage runs deeper? What if our rookies can't bridge this gulf? What if the Lions' dreams are suspended on a thin cord of fragile health? Detroit knows this agony intimately. We've seen seasons tossed into chaos by injuries. Remember the Caldwell years. Remember the false dawns, the agonizing near misses, the heartbreaks that fell like stones on our fans' hopes. This city's weathered storms with a stubborn pride only true Blue Lions fans can understand. We aren't just spectators. We're warriors in this battle of wills. And yet, even in this maelstrom, the front office is moving quietly, decisively. Rumors swirl about reinforcements, whispers of veteran quarterbacks with MVP resins, circling like vultures waiting to swoop in and salvage what might be slipping through our fingers. The name on the street. A former star, a fallen king looking for redemption. Carson Wentz. Yes, the same Wentz who once electrified Philadelphia before injuries and fate's cruel twist dimmed his fire. He's reportedly ready, mentally sharp, physically prepped, and Detroit has always been good at breathing new life into those trees other cities have written off as barren. Is this the spark plug to electrify a faltering backup plan? To shield us from the nightmare of Jared Goff's backup struggles? There's a weight behind this possibility that can't be understated. It might not be about jettisoning Goff or Allen, but about safeguarding our runway to the playoffs, protecting that fragile dream from slipping into another brutal Lions off-season. What if Wentz's arrival isn't just a consolation prize, but the secret weapon in a lineup hungry to rewrite its story? As the sun sets on this drama, one thing is clear. The fuse is lit. Any moment now, that spark could explode into a season-defining revelation. And just when you think the night's darkest hour is past, remember this: if Arnold's domino falls, if Wentz steps through that door, you won't believe who's waiting in the wings next, ready to turn the tide, ready to make Detroit not just come back, but come back for blood. The countdown has begun. Are you ready to roar with us or watch in horror as the Lions story turns yet another page of stunning, heartbreaking uncertainty? Crush the silence. Detroit, this is the moment where legends either rise from the ashes or get buried under the weight of what-ifs and lost chances. The wind's howling through Allen Park like a siren's call, and every heartbeat pounding in the chest of a Lions fan feels like the crack of thunder echoing through decades of heartbreak and hope, decades littered with false dawns, near misses, and the ghosts of seasons that slipped away in cruel, unforgiving fashion. Remember the 0-16 nightmare that haunted Ford Field like a scars-forged curse? Or Dan Orlovsky's desperate scramble to keep hope alive, only to stumble just shy of glory? We've seen the captaincy of Calvin Johnson hung up with tears, Barry. Sanders bow out of his prime, and Jim Caldwell's fire dimmed by the cold realities of losing streaks and front office indecision. All of it feeding into the toxic blend of heartbreak and resilience that defines us. Last year's playoff thrill, the edge-of-the-seat desperation when Goff led that final drive at Lambeau, eyes glued, nerves raw only to be dashed by that inexplicable collapse on the road, that sickening feeling of hope turned to ashes in a heartbeat. Now, just as scars started to fade, the ground shifts again. Arnold's hamstring, that promising young gun, limping under the weight of what could be a season-altering injury, sending shockwaves through a secondary already stretched thin like a violin string about to snap. It's not just injury. It's a symbol, a cryptic warning that the fragile foundation of Detroit's future might be about to fracture, unleashing every worst-case scenario from the depths of fan nightmares. Fans are holding their breath, knowing the stakes are higher than ever because this isn't just about replacing a corner. It's about integrity, identity, and the relentless hope that this time, maybe this time, Detroit can weather the storm, let go of the ghost, and finally write that story we've been starving for over half a century. The front office, shrouded in secrecy, is mobilizing whispers of veteran reinforcements, the secretive waltz of trades and signings, of stretching the roster's thin thread to hold back the avalanche that Arnold's injury could unleash. Is Wentz the fallen star seeking redemption, that secret weapon that will turn despair into a silver lining? Or is he just another misfit, another gamble that may blow up in our face as history repeats itself? The coaches, the players, the fans all on the brink, glued to the roller coaster that is training camp and the looming preseason game that could be our last shot at salvaging the season's crumbling frame. Every snap, every play, every training session feels like a war game, each one a battle to keep the dream alive, to prevent the ghosts of past collapses from clawing their way back into our psyche. The specter of last season's wild-card heartbreak, the near misses that haunted every off-season, echo loudly. Was it just luck? Or was at the moment we crossed the line, only to have fate rip it away again? This city, battered and beaten, wears its scars proudly, refusing to surrender, refusing to watch another season bleed into oblivion. The stakes now? Unbearably high, more than just wins and losses, because it's about pride, identity, and whether the Lions can finally break free from the shackles of mental fragility etched into our collective DNA. We've seen too many seasons fall apart on injury, bad calls, or mental lapses, call it destiny or curse. But Detroit's past hangs over our heads like a shroud of despair. But hope, that fierce, unyielding lion's roar, still courses through our veins, energized now by whispers of Wentz, by the possibility of redemption, by the chance to turn the page and stamp our mark on the NFL's brutal landscape. So what's the price of this gamble? Will the secondary withstand the storm? Can the rookies step up, shattering every doubter's voice? And more urgently, if Arnold's injury digs deeper, if Wentz's arrival ignites a new dawn or a new disaster, what exactly is waiting behind the curtain? Who are the hidden weapons, the unspoken heroes? The players that haven't yet shown their true colors, but are lurking in the shadows, ready to cause a seismic shift? That's the question Detroit faces tonight. Does the fragile spark we cling to ignite a roaring blaze or sputter out into darkness? Because if this injury marks the beginning of a new nightmare, if the entire season hinges on who answers the call next, will it be the young guns, the seasoned vets, or some unforeseen outsider waiting in the wings? One thing is certain. This isn't just a game. This isn't just football. It's Detroit's legacy hanging in the balance, teetering on the edge of annihilation or unparalleled greatness. And as the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows over Ford Field, a new chapter is about to be written, and nobody knows exactly how it ends.